Happy Tuesday, Grizzlies, sorry. All right, so yesterday we read sort of what happened when Moose didn't want to take Natalie outside anymore. He was fearful of 105, but yet Natalie won't stop talking about 105. And his mom basically, it seems like, tricked him by taking away all the buttons so he would be forced to take Natalie out. It turns into a huge screaming match between the two of them, where at the end, Natalie is actually using the pronoun I to say what she wants. So we're going to read two chapters today. They're both rather short. So chapter 31 is called My Dad. Same day, Wednesday, May 8th, 1935. We go to the parade grounds. Natalie gets on the swings. There's a mom there with her 4-year-old son. She pushes him. I push Natalie. She's too big and too old for this. Her hips are too large for the seat. I ignore this. I ignore them. She can pump herself, but I know she prefers to have me push. After a few minutes, I notice her head is tipping to the side. I run around to the front just in time to catch her as she falls forward. She's sound asleep. Tantrums exhaust her. I can sure see why. They exhaust me too. I carry her home as best I can. She seems so solid, so big, a real grown-up person in my arms. I stop often, leaning her weight on a cement wall, the edge of a building, the banister. I'm almost to the back stairwell when my dad finds us. He doesn't ask what happened. He simply takes Natalie from me, and I follow him to our apartment. We walk through the wild mess of our living room, rug pulled out from under the coffee table, vases upended in a puddle of water, broken plate slivers and lemon cake scattered everywhere. My foot crunches the china pieces as I follow my father to Natalie's room. He places her gently on her bed and covers her with her favorite purple blanket. Then he goes to the icebox and opens a beer. He looks over at me, seems to think a minute, opens another, and pours a full glass for himself and half a glass for me. My father rarely drinks and never with me. I had a few sips once at Pete's house, but I didn't like it much. That doesn't matter. What matters is he seems to understand. In the living room, he sets his beer down, picks up the vase, and puts it back where it belongs. I set my beer by his and get the broom. The room is silent except for the clock ticking on the mantel, the sound of sweeping and the clink of china pieces as my father drops them in the metal trash tin. Dad, I ask, how come you always do what Mom tells you? My dad makes a funny sound, a kind of laugh through his nose. He says nothing, and then, a full minute later, I don't always. Most of the time. My father swallows, considers this. Yeah, most of the time, I guess I do. How come? I ask, sweeping a glass piece off the rug to the floor and up the incline to the dustpan. My father takes a sip of his beer. Things matter more to your mother than they do to me. What things? Everything. Everything? I ask. I'm watching him now, searching his golden brown eyes. Everything except you. My father bites his lip. The tears well up. He turns away and busies himself tugging the rug back in place. I strain my eyelids open and try to breathe the tears back in my head. I look down, then take a breath. Dad? I ask. I'm going to tell him what happened now. I am. Yeah? He says. Did I cause Natalie to be the way she is? The question seems to come from somewhere deep inside of me. Moose. My father freezes, his eyes riveted on me. Something I did. You said she got worse when she was 3. That's when I was born. Was it me? I concentrate on the rug. Moose. My dad grabs my shoulders and he looks straight into my eyes. I don't know, he says, taking a teary breath. What caused Natalie to be sick? I don't think anyone knows that, but I do know this. He bites his lip, his voice so full of feeling he's having trouble speaking. Absolutely. Absolutely for sure it had nothing at all to do with you. Chapter 32, The Button Box. Same day, Wednesday, May 8th, 1935. When my mother comes in, Natalie's button box clattering against the side of her purse, she sees me with the beer. Her eyes register the shock. What happened? Where's Natalie? she asks, her voice sharp and tight in her throat. Natalie's fine. She's asleep in her room, my father says. But I need to talk to you. Me? My mom asks, her voice high and childlike. Yes, my father says. My mother's eyes dart to me and then back to my dad. Just you and I, my father says, cocking his head toward the bedroom. I don't want to talk here. My mother nods. She follows my father into the bedroom. At first it's quiet in there. Hushed voices muffled by the closed door. Then the voices get louder and more angry. My mother cries. My father is angry and firm. I hear my name. I walk closer to the door. Look, my mother says, I'm not taking any chances with this. Mrs. Kelly says... I know what Mrs. Kelly says. I'm talking about Moose now and what he thinks. He's good with Natalie. They've worked out a relationship. We have to respect that and trust him. Well, yes, but you have to let him care about her his way. And then something I can't hear. I got one child who has everything, my mom says. Big, strapping, healthy, smart, makes people laugh. Got kids coming over looking for him night and day, just like at home. Little ones, big ones, and the girls, they all like Moose. But Natalie? Natalie doesn't have the whole world looking out for her. She needs me. Moose needs you too. Fiddlesticks, Cam. You don't think he does? She sighs. I suppose he does. You two never try to understand each other, my father says. Little things become big things with you and Moose that quick. He snaps his fingers. Couldn't you have just talked to him about the button box? My mom is quiet for a minute. When she begins talking again, her voice is too low for me to hear. Now both of them are speaking softly. They aren't mad anymore. I think about what my dad said. I think so hard it makes my head ache. In Natalie's room, she's still sleeping, but I feel better sitting in here with her. She's so peaceful when she sleeps. So normal. This is the sister I might have had. I see now the person we missed. Natalie, I whisper. This is your chance. I smooth out her tangled hair. You have to get into the Esther P. Marinoff this time, okay? Mom can't handle it if you don't.